What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the To Be Alive podcast, Saints in Pairs. We took a week hiatus last week, just logistically couldn't make it work. But here we are, back. Episode 13, spooky 13, it's Halloween season, so very fitting. Andres, our special guest, how are we doing today, my man?
Bro, good. So much fun the last couple of days. So much digging. So fired up.
Let's get into it. All right, I'm going to set a quick timer. Okay, let's do a quick grounding. I could definitely use it.
Mhm.
We'll do 1 minute. Listeners, please join if you can. And go ahead and close your eyes. If you're able to, take a couple of deep breaths in and out. Settle into your chair or on your couch. Feel your feet touching the surface of whatever it's on. Feel how good it feels for your feet to touch the floor or your couch. All right, come on back. I actually did not time that, so I hope that was 1 minute.
It definitely was at least a minute.
Awesome. All right. So, first of all, any quick reflections on that meditation?
The only thing I have is that when you are when a romantic relationship is in the picture, you have an additional nervous system that you're like somewhat trying to sync up to. And so like I used to only have my thoughts, and now I notice I can have like small versions of like the other person's thoughts. And I'm like, wow.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Can I ask you about that?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Wait, so elaborate. Like, what do you mean exactly?
Okay, so like let's say you're with someone and like either you know that they like that you answer at a reasonable time, like either a text or you said you'd call them, or there's like a a sense of responsibility now, or when you're in a relationship to be considerate of the other person's like attentive and attention and like what's the word, um, bids for connection. Um, and so I notice like typically it's just me, right? Or it's just like friends. Okay, I got to respond back to this friend, but it's not as much like pressure because there's less expectations in a friendship. You can have a deep friendship and have some expectations, obviously, like, one of the we could talk about after, but one of mine is like, I think it's healthy for the pod. I'm chronically late and it's not a fair reality for you. So that's something I want to impose. But even in a romantic sense, it's different because your nervous systems are reliant on the other person showing up consistently and to be emotionally available and to be emotionally like, receptive. And so, yeah, right now there's somebody that like started to see a little bit, and I want to make sure like I hadn't answered something, and there was something, and I was like, okay, if I'm hanging out with this person and that person, am I even going to be able to have time to see them at all? Just making sure that I'm considerate.
Mm. Okay, two questions. One, your camera's kind of shaking again. I'm curious if that's...
It's because I'm doing the foot thing. Okay.
Okay.
Good call out. Good call out.
Yeah, all good, all good. Second question is, So what you're talking about, I very distinctly remember when I was in
Mm,
my last relationship, and I'm curious, like, how do you, personally for yourself, like, how do you keep that separation where it doesn't become like enmeshment,
yes.
where you lose your own frequency? Your
Yes.
yeah,
Your sense of self. Great question, dude, because this is the kicker. Like at the end of the day, you are putting your heart in someone's hands. And so this is where I really like the idea of attachment theory. Some people need more attention, some people need less, and some people are just okay getting whatever comes. And so it really helps when you have a partner who's just secure or that can learn how to self-regulate. It's like shit happens, you can't answer all the time. I'm not a huge fan of texting that much, to be honest with you. It's super fun when I'm bored or have little moments during the workday, but like I like the idea of, and this is what my answer to you is, it very much depends on what you want and negotiating with your partner so that they can fulfill it properly. And for me, I'm like, I would rather we go most of the day, we don't really talk, but I'll call you during lunch for 20 minutes, and then either we hang out with each other in the afternoon, I call you in FaceTime or something in the afternoon, or I come over for like a little walk and just to check in before bed. And so for me, it's like if I have 2 pit stops, I think it's beautiful. See you during lunch, hear, flirt a little bit, and then somehow communicate in the evening. And then we don't have to have this like stress of like, do I need to respond in between? That for me gives me a healthy sense of self, and also I can like be present in between. I for me, I just want to remain present. There's something about texting that keeps the loop open. Whereas like I don't really like to keep up through text, and so yeah, that's what I
yeah.
think so far.
Okay. So kind of to summarize, it's like a just be kind of secure in yourself and date people who are also secure in themselves, and this is not as much of an issue or worry to navigate. And also, I agree. I think texting does have this obligation, like obligational energy. Like, oh, someone texted me. Now I kind of have to respond to them. Um, yeah, this is like pervasive in our world. We could literally have a whole podcast about that. Honestly,
If I turned off my light right now, would it be detrimental for the episode to have like a switch?
no, we can do it. It looks good.
All right, bet.
Yeah,
Sure.
cool. All right. So, what was the reason for that change?
The reason for the change of subject?
No. Just I'm just curious. Why'd you want to switch to light? Is it more comfortable this one?
Um, there's just something. I feel like there's so much brightness going on, like on my visual. Just so.
Uh,
Um,
I love it, dude. I love that you
but
said that. Let's go. Tuning into that energy.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. I have so many questions for you, and I'm wondering if you're gonna be open to share what was coming up from yesterday.
What part of yesterday? Yesterday, the entirety of yesterday was an adventure.
Okay, so before we even go there, well, I guess we can start there. I even wanted to talk a little bit more about Mavericks, and we went dancing and like emotionally, like yeah, I felt you so, I felt your heart so much, and I just loved your disposition to being there and seeing everybody. That's part one. You can answer that if you want first. But the part two I want to say is like I got a voice note from you last night at 2 in the morning, and homeboy went in. He went in, bro. He dropped the vulnerable heart on the table with what was happening. And do you mind if I do you want to speak to the setting and circumstance, or do you want me to like?
I can speak to it. Yeah. Um, but before I speak to it, I'd love to know. This is kind of funny, like because no one knows what I'm asking about. But what was your reaction or response to
Mm,
what I said?
two or three things. One was like immediately I was like, a part of my heart was like, I wish I was with you right then and there, and I could have just like held you as a brother, like just fucking been with you, embraced you, gave you a hug, was on the couch, like listening to you while you were in this, and like consoling. And then there was the other part of me that was like, yeah, I was just like, I just wanted that for you, and also because I was like, I am worried about, I'm caring for you. And then the other part was like having so many questions of what was arising and curious to see because it's not just like a momentary or like an evening thing. It's like what stays with you afterwards, what's being integrated, what's being, you know, was there any negative repercussions that you feel given the experience that was arising?
Amazing. Thanks for asking. It's hard to talk. It's hard to. I mean, it's hard to talk about for obvious reasons, but the whole day yesterday was just kind of a dream.
Mm.
I I'm in this kind of place right now where I'm beginning to understand who I am, like truly. Like I don't know how else to explain this, but I've just become really attuned to the way I feel around different environments, different people, different places I'm at. And especially in the last like week or so, I felt all the tension that I carry around people. I felt my body, how tight I get around other human beings. I could just be walking at a mall, you know, and I feel as different types of people walk past me, I'll feel my body bracing for some reason. And at some level, I've been aware of this my whole life. Like I knew I felt unsafe around people, I think. And I'm just finally at the place now where I'm ready to like understand what this is for me. Like why am I so afraid? Um, and it's not like it's not an anxious, panicky, intense kind of energy that I feel. It's this like low level. I'm just not safe, and
Mm.
I'm not like if you looked at me walking past me, you would be like, oh, this guy looks normal, right? So maybe I'm kind of able to mask it. The
Stoic.
Yeah. And so I did this funny exercise yesterday. You can call it an exercise, but it was more something told me to do this. I was these days I've been using the phrase I was guided to. Something beyond me guided me to go to the Domain, which is an outdoor mall here in Austin. And this is so funny to talk about on a podcast. I walked around for 45 minutes there and I played this game where every time someone would walk past me, in the first 5 minutes, I would just notice, okay, what's happening in my body? Ooh, I can feel tension happening. My chest is tightening. And then I was like, okay, now when people walk past me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just like describe them in like 3 words, like lady in black dress, lady with a dog, man with his kid, that kind of thing. Walk past me. Like I would just create a sentence in my mind, and then once I said it, I would feel my body again, and I would feel the tension. But the tension, something about not allowing this story to create, because what's happening is I walk past somebody and my mind starts to assume all kinds of things like, oh, your hair doesn't look good today. He probably notices how shitty you look. Oh, you're walking kind of funny. He's probably like judging you or laughing inside because of how weirdly you look when you're walking. Oh, dude, your hands are like flailing on your side. You probably look really weird. Not everyone around you notices. Like all these stories just automatically run when I'm out around people. Like all these stories of like all the ways that the world is judging me for just freaking walking along the sidewalk. And like I got kind of angry. I'm getting angrier now just thinking about it. Like I'm just fucking done like feeling so powerless.
Mm.
So this exercise was like it allowed me to I didn't this is like I literally this is a ChatGPT thing. I just recommended this and I was like something about this really stood out to me. So I practiced it and it really allowed me to calm my nervous system and not just calm it, but like calibrate. I still felt tension, but like it wasn't like I was running with the stories. I was like, oh, a woman with black dress created tension in chest. Moving on. Like I can just drop it and then move on to the next thing. And something about that, I'm going to keep practicing this. Something about that was it was so it just felt like something I can glimpse some freedom of like being out around people where I don't feel this way. Um, so that was what I did yesterday, and then I went, I went on a random like goose chase of like, hey, let me go get some Asian food for dinner. So I found some Asian restaurant. I had a really good time there, and then I went to get some ice cream. I had a good time there, and then I got home, and it's like 9 o'clock, and I'm like, so this is where I'll share. Um, and I'm going to be a little bit discreet with what I'm saying here because I don't know what kind of YouTube's filters and whatnot exist here, but or Spotify for that matter. But I took mushroom chocolates, the psychedelic variety, just a little bit. Like I took maybe a gram and a half. And if anyone knows, that's a pretty light dose of it. But this was my first time taking this particular variety, and it was quite potent. So I wasn't expecting to be slapped the way I was slapped by this. And I was ready for it. I was like, whatever happens here is beautiful, and I can't wait to experience it. So I lit like an incense just to kind of clear the vibes of my apartment. Got the right light setting and everything. Laid on my couch and just closed my eyes, and I just let it take me on a ride. I didn't go deep into it because there's a relatively light dose. I didn't have like hallucinations and like I wasn't going into crazy places or anything. But what happened was the tension I mentioned earlier came back, except it was like 100 times more noticeable in my body.
Mm,
And I just felt so tense everywhere to the point where I was like, oh my God, dude, this is like
overwhelming.
so overwhelming. And because I've done a lot in the meditation practices, I have a lot of, practice grounding. I never actually went into like a spiral. I could totally have seen this kind of thing causing the spiral like 5 years ago if I tried this,
Mm,
but in my credit, I was able to really be grounded with it, and I allowed it to take me. I allowed the tension to come through, and I felt the tension everywhere so deep, and like it just kept coming, and I just kept surrendering to it. I kept surrendering to it. I kept surrendering to it, and it always led me. And I've been talking about this a lot on this pod recently, and just with other people who I talk to regularly. I have this pit in my gut. There's this black sphere, black hole. I don't know what you want to call it in my gut that I've become so aware of. And every time I really come into stillness and I concentrate, I feel like my attention move down into my gut, and then I feel the presence of this sensation. And while I was on the mushrooms, I felt that sensation come back. And because of the mushrooms, I was able to really stay with it longer than I normally would. While my body, like I was like in a fetal position basically at some point. I moved to my bed eventually, and I was literally just in fetal position. And I'm like, I'm gonna ride this out. And basically, I got to a place where I realized that I've been resisting this feeling my whole life. I haven't actually allowed myself to feel the in like almost like the infinite depth of this pain of just whatever this was. At the time it didn't make sense, but whatever this is, this tension, this feeling of I'm scared, I'm helpless, people don't love me, like this fear that I've carried my whole life that I know you've seen around, like you've witnessed in me in different ways. I became aware of it, man, and I realized like I have to sit with this more. And I don't know what happened, but within like in 2 hours, I felt my heart break like 3 times.
mm,
At one of the times was like I got this insane yearning to meet my person, and
mm.
and I was feeling her energy, her warmth, the feeling of like just being at home with her, and that shit broke my heart. I've never felt that like in my life, man. And I'm finally able to feel a little bit of what it is to be completely safe in my body today, or last night. Um, So yeah, that's in a nutshell what happened. And today has been beautiful. It's been a beautiful, like the day after you do these types of things, for me at least, I feel a very um I'm very still. Like my mind isn't chatty, I'm just very still and I notice a lot of little tiny things happening around me. Um it's a perfect way to integrate. But yeah, that's what happened. And we could talk about the dance night as well if you want. Friday night we went out dancing and that was scary for me for the same reasons I just shared. But yeah, I'll stop there for now. I've been talking for like 15 minutes or something.
Beautiful. Wow. Why you use that wording at the end? This is probably the first time that you felt safe in your body. I didn't make that connection before where you said you were feeling a hundredfold all the tension, all the tension. I was thinking you would feel unsafe in that sense. But then your heart started to break a little bit for certain reasons. But then where did the moment happen where you're like, now I'm starting to feel safe in my body?
Bro, what a good question. Oh, what a good question. When I allowed myself to just surrender to the tension in my body and that weird sensation in my gut, which is fear. It's just like this, it's existential fear. It's like the deepest fear I think I carry. When I
Mm,
surrendered to it and I just surrendered to it with the aid of the mushrooms, at some point you realize that like on the other side of it is you're okay, and I think like you feel it through enough and then you realize I'm okay. And then that's when you realize that like even this fear, which I was so afraid of that I just felt through, is not me. So I glimpsed it. I wouldn't say I've integrated it completely, but I glimpsed that last night. And actually, I don't think I even connected that till you asked me. So thank you for asking me.
this is the integration session.
This is the integration session. Yeah. Yeah, man. So,
Mm,
and it was just crazy how I was like, something else happened. Sorry, one more thing I want to share.
please, please.
Because I've seen you in states of surrender where you're surrendering to, you say God, like, in your words, like, we'll just use that for a second. Like there's just like this complete surrender to God. And like, it's not, it truly is no longer about you in that point, right? Like there's just completely letting go of any idea of me. And then that's when things come through you, like messages, voices, visions, whatever it is. When I surrendered, the thing that came through was the frequency of my person, of my future partner,
Wow, getting chills. What was the frequency like?
dude. I just the word home keeps coming to mind. Is home. It's that comfort of just knowing you're safe in someone else's presence. My whole life I've mentioned this before on this pod, but I've had this story, this desire to be with the right woman, in the right relationship. And I don't think I realized until recently that the reason why is I haven't ever felt that frequency of home before. And now that I'm feeling it in myself, at least I'm beginning to, I can start to really dream it out loud. And in some way, man, I know I'm going to manifest it. But it's not like I want to meet this person because she's going to heal the part of me that doesn't feel like I'm home already. It's like I have to know that that is real. And I understand now that that exists, that frequency exists. I felt it for like 5 minutes last night while I'm crying. And so now that I know it's real and what it feels like, just a little bit, like I'm not even going to sit here and tell you that I'm familiar with it. I'm not. If it was so foreign, it was so intense. It was like so intense, man. It was like going into a 150-degree sauna. It's just like holy shit, this feels amazing, but holy shit, it's a lot. um, so yeah.
Hmm. What were the other two reasons why your heart broke?
I think there was one around just, and this came back to me twice, around like like not truly being with myself, abandoning myself, and like the heartbreak of what that is, a grief of abandoning like a version of you that is real, that is the only part of you that's real, the only part of me that's real. Um, abandoning it, like not allowing myself, like everything I felt last night. That is what I have been meaning to feel, not run away from, not intellectualize, you know? And the more I feel it, the more compassion is coming through about, like, fuck, man. Like
Mm.
there's just, there's so much love in me that I just never saw. And even talking about it right now feels like I don't want to, I kind of don't want to talk more about it more because I don't want, the point of this isn't,
It'll diminish it. It'll diminish the
yeah,
beauty of it.
yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes things are so intimate that when you share it, it loses its beauty and it loses its intimacy in your own heart. You got to
yeah,
honor that.
absolutely.
Wow. But you really ran the sesh without me, huh? After we had just talked about it 2 days before, I'm weak, bro. My boy said, "All right, speed run."
I mean, to be honest, I kind of wanted to speed run it or test run it
I
because
honestly get it, bro. I
I'm going
get
to
it.
give you, I can, but can I share what you shared with me on Friday about this?
Sure.
Yeah. Like Andres mentioned to me, he's curious about using these medicines as well. So I just got this stuff from a friend and it's really, really good. So now I know. And so like we'll have a good time whenever you decide you're ready.
Amazing. Amazing. Oh, bro. What a week. Um,
I have 1,000 questions for you, dude.
Please. Yesterday was crazy. Yesterday was crazy.
all right, let's switch it around. I want to hear about you. Like, okay, I have specific questions, but first I'm gonna leave it open. Like, what's going on? What's on your heart that you want to share?
I'm This is such an insane place to be right now emotionally, where a girl that I have talked about on this pod from previous episodes that I closed the loop on and then came back around, and I guess there's a soul lesson here or whatever, why it's like something's like unfinished. And this is someone who's more religious and asked certain things of me. I was like, I need you to write out what you need of a boyfriend, I need of a husband, because I don't want to I don't want us to fall for each other and get into something where it's like, this isn't going to work. Um, and I feel like I can love you as you are, but I feel like there's requirements that you have of me that I don't think I'm going to meet. And yet, so, and she named them. And I looked at them, I was like, I can't be certain parts of these. And we talked about it. And then the main thing was like, when we have kids, how would, she wants me to raise them in the faith. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna raise them in a faith, but it's like a different way of doing it. It's like, I'm gonna raise them the way I am, like, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually. I'm gonna nourish them with the things that I believe have served me. Um, and a lot of them has the similar beauty and heart of, let's say, the Christian faith, but without the rigidity. And I've been processing this for the last couple of days, ever since her and I talked. And last night we went out, and she took me out on a date, and it was beautiful. Like, dude, she put me on a scavenger hunt. She took me to this beautiful hidden beach. She took me to watch the sunset on a nice view in a bridge. Took me to dinner. Took me to a trampoline park. Took me to a speakeasy, and then took me to out dancing. A lot of it was symbolisms of like, we used to dance together and stuff. And I was on one of those days where you've seen this, where I'm like kind of tired. I'm like deliriously funny, like so funny. Like, I'm just goofing all the way. And I thought, like, should we have this serious convo immediately? And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna enjoy this. And so like I was making her laugh for like the first 3 hours of the day, from like 3 p.m. until like 6:45. Honestly, maybe a little later. We were just crying of laughter. I was being ridiculous. I was acting like this different persona. I was being super charming on purpose, like overly charming. I'm like, "What's up, baby? You trying to get out of here?" Like just being ridiculous, bro. Just being ridiculous. It was hilarious, and she was having a great time too. And it wasn't until we got to the speakeasy that finally it just naturally felt like, okay, let's bring this up. And I told her my truth, which is what you and I talked about in the car the other day, which was like, I really like you and I would love to be with you. And there's a high chance I won't ever be the kind of person that you've like written about. Um, but I think I'm gonna be I know I'm gonna be an amazing dad. And I know we want to feel like we're on a team when we have kids, and it's like I would love for you to be, I'd love for us to be exclusive and take this in that direction. But we need to have consensus on what having kids and like our spirituality, in a sense, the way we practice our faith. We need unison there, so there's no division within us and division within our house. And that's where I'm at. Like, and it was the first time she heard more of my story again, but it was the first time that I felt like I could feel her because she understood it. She asked me enough questions this time, and as she was poking at like, but why this or why not that, or because I used to be very much the same views as her, she could agree more and more. She's like, I agree with everything you're saying. And so this is like, and I've just never had thought this way before. So this is like new to me. And so in real time watching her as she's like, we're falling for each other. She's emotionally like she just really likes me. I'm watching her like actually see me with the right lens emotionally as to why I believe what I believe, and I was able to articulate it. And so suddenly, like I feel like we were gapped, like there was a gap between us, and it was like doing this, and I felt so like, yeah, it was just a beautiful moment. Like even if we don't end up together, it's like whatever's happening in this process is sharpening both of us.
You spoke your truth to her?
Yeah.
Let's go, man.
Let's go. It was fire. It was fire.
That's beautiful. Wow. Wow. I want to ask like a really childish question, which is like,
Please.
how do you feel like about the trajectory of this? Like, do you think it's gonna work out?
Bro, I have like this weird romantic part of me right now that's like I'm a realist and a romantic. I'm a hella romantic, bro. But the realist in me is like, bro, you're on an uphill battle, and the romantic in me is like, bro, just freaking play together and then keep bringing this up because within the last 3 to 4 times we've talked about this, the amount of progression that has been made, in my opinion, is like it doesn't even feel humanly possible. Like there's from where we were when we started to now, it does not seem possible that we can find a bridge. And now I feel like there's a world that a bridge could exist. And so,
Yeah. Something that I've been thinking about this situation, if you don't mind me asking, is, and I'm curious if you've thought about this at all. I mean, knowing you, I'm sure you have, but how do you, or how have you balanced kind of respecting her own way of seeing things and not wanting to change her, um, to fit the kind of person you'd want to be with by basically logically slicing apart her belief system? How do you balance that? Because you can, right? How do you balance that with like truly just accepting her for who she is right now and where you guys are right now?
I told her that I don't believe this 100%, so I have to change the wording now. I told her, like, oh, I think your path to enlightenment could probably be in the church. And I see it and feel it for her. But now I also have this duality of like, I do think the beauty of who she is and so much of her character has been danced with her faith, and I admire it. And this is the very crucial middle, is that I think for a partnership to work with the kind of differences that we have, people have to compromise. You have to. Or you just find someone that just has the same spirituality. And so I've been holding to this lens of, to make a romantic partnership work, you both have to let some parts of your dreams die so that the byproduct of your love and coming together can produce a bigger dream that was not there before, that could not be there without the byproduct of your love. And that for me is like certain things that I've given up of like, yeah, I'll wait for this, or I'll be different with that. And the hard part is I feel when one is taking rule books from a belief system and says that this has to be the way, you can't negotiate when this is a black and white rule book. But what I was like basically saying was, I think in people's journey spiritually, these rule books, these things are really amazing to help create a foundation. But like everything else in life, you leave your father and your mother and you go and become one with someone else, and that is the person you tangle with. You go to university, you study something, so eventually you're in the world. And everything in life, you get off the training wheels, you get off the textbook, you get off the black and white, and then you enter the world, and then you make adult, mature decisions with that foundation. But I think part of becoming a mature adult and a mature partner is you're like, sometimes you look at the reality of the rules of, this is what you've been taught, and you say, I think to make this work, I think this is actually healthy, or I think this doesn't need to be this rigid. And I think that's the part that allows for compromise in a healthy way to exist. I don't need her to change every single thing she believes. I think she has the heart of it. I think I have the heart of it. But yeah, part of what makes us us is that like, I think kids should be raised with this holistic perspective, not in this a container. And so there's elements of like, can we do that? Can we stand a little outside and say, you know what, in this scenario, yeah, let's love this kid like this. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. It's like, I mean, at the end of the day, I think all we can do is have a very, like, whatever it is that we believe is true for us in how we approach a given situation. In this case, this woman that you're dating, and following through in that, that's all you can do. Right. So it's not even about, is that right or wrong? What you just said, right? That's not the point.
There is none.
That's your truth. And you learn through your truth, whatever it is. And I think there's a case to be made for both sides of like, that's 100% true. And that could also not be true. Doesn't matter. I love it. I felt the steadiness in your words. And that's what I wanted to hear more than the words themselves.
Bro, it is so much fun hanging out with her.
Hey, for the record, I met this girl and we went dancing, and I was like, I told Andreas afterwards, I was like, I looked at him, I was like, dog, I get it. I get it.
Bro, we hung out from 3 p.m. until 2 a.m. and I didn't even flinch. I was like, yo, we kids right now, bro. I lost track of time so fast. Like phone, time, work, everything's all of it out. Bro, the amount of presence, it's like drugs, bro.
I love it.
It's ridiculous, dude. So much fun.
Amazing. Amazing. Anything else on that you want to share?
I feel complete in that. I think the last thing I want to say is like there's an interesting dance now where we both have acknowledged a lot of feelings for each other. And we acknowledge that like, yeah, we want to do this right. We want to make sure we don't get into something that we can't fulfill with kids in the future and whatever. So now there's like we're slowly enmeshing worlds. And so like figuring out like we basically talk every day now. And we basically do this and that. It's weird to do that It's weird to do that, not having certainty of like, is this gonna pan? Like, are we eventually just gonna be like, nah, we don't really like. And yeah, I guess up to now, it's like we're both like, this is worth the risk. Like, love is a risk, and you got to be willing to play the game.
It's so refreshing. It's so refreshing to hear, man. Like I hope people listening can like understand how beautiful this is. Like you don't know if it's gonna work out, and it it's like exactly when like do you ever know? Like come on. Oh man. Like in some way you're teaching some version of me in the future where I don't like I also as much as I have this knowing of the frequency and whatnot of this person I'll meet at some point in my life. It's like maybe I have to go through some relationships before I get there. Maybe you know what I mean. And I
Mm.
think that's something that's been coming up more and more for me too. Which means, can I be okay dating people that may not feel like the certainty of this is the one, but there's still something there worth exploring. I mean, to be honest, my last relationship was that. I remember um, thinking early on that like there's something here for me to learn, and there's something here worth fighting for. Um, and we fought for it for a very long time. Oh, and fight and what's the
Fight we
phrase?
did.
The fight we did. The fight we did. But yeah, it's a good reminder.
You know what the most beautiful part is, dude? Having good friends when you start, because it's turbulent when you start. I think people like us, we are too aware of too many things. And so we want to try to map out predictable futures because of pattern recognition and are they like this person that I've been with? And I really do believe me being able to talk to you, my friends, my parents, like openly and honestly, like this is what I kind of think is fearful. This is what I kind of think is like whatever. For us, it goes 100-fold because it allows us to process, allows us to heal, makes us more whole. It allows us to communicate better with the partner with they're with, so we can like actually dialogue about the things that need to be seen and acknowledged, and maybe work through or like decided on. And I think that is the crux, in my opinion, because every relationship will have everyone has baggage. They're going to have moments where you feel anxious or uncomfortable or whatever. You're going to. You cannot avoid it. And you can be better about the way you navigate it, both for yourself and for the partner you're with. And I think that's what goes the distance.
Yeah, well said. And it's one thing to understand that as a concept. It's another thing to live it.
Live it somatically. It can feel intense sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm willing to bet most people listening and myself, definitely myself included, understand it as a concept, but living it is like, because the thing is, you have to be so, and this is my own perspective, I could be wrong, but you have to be so sure of what you just said. Like it has to be so ingrained in you, because when you go out in the world and you start meeting people and stuff, they're going to have the same anxieties that most women have, or most people have in general, about like, what's your intention? What are we doing here? Um,
Mhm.
and that can make it messy. So if you're not sure and if you're not in your frame, then you're going to go right back. And like, that's, I guess what my story is like, oh, I'm just going to revert back to the old ways. I'm just going to hit abort the moment I feel like something's off, even though in my heart, I know, hey, if something is, first of all, one thing I want to add is there needs to be some kind of like internal intrinsic desire to get to know someone. Like I did this thing where I shared this before, but just quickly, where I would just go on random dates with, like, literally every week I would go on a random date I would date with someone I met online, right? And every time I would meet them, I'd tell myself, uh, go on, like, take this person out twice. Take this person out twice before you decide. Just
Mm.
even though I knew after one date, like there's no desire for me to get to know this person, right? So yeah, like there's some nuance to it, but yeah, I think in general it's a very understated perspective in today's dating environment that I think I'm definitely going to embody, and I hope others in whatever way embody.
Mm. You know, there's something you said that I wanted to harp on.
Harp away.
Maybe it was about like wanting to hit the abort button and I had moments of that for sure, and this is it. The uncertainty that causes you to wanna go this way or that way, I feel like can be really mitigated by your level of clarity that you speak into the dynamic with the person. Like, I told her, I I made it vulnerable in the sense of, like, "I have feelings for you. I'm kinda crazy about you. I would love for you to be my girlfriend, and I know that this part of us has we have to be able to see eye to eye on the raising of the kids and our spirituality, because if we can't, it's not enough. The feelings and desire is not enough to build something real, and that creates certainty, even though, yes, it's uncertain, is it gonna work out, but it's like a level of confidence of, like, I'm not gonna waver in my feelings and acknowledgement. I'm not like, it's clear. I wanna be here. This is how I wanna go about this, and also, I love getting to know you, and so that conviction kinda grounds, and so, like, even when I meet someone now, let's say this doesn't pan out, I feel like I'm gonna be 100% better for it, and I'm gonna meet someone, and I'm gonna joke around, have all this stuff, but honestly, I'm diving into the deep questions, wanting to know their heart, wanting to know the way they see the world to see if we'll click, and then somewhere in that, and after a couple of these good conversations, I'll probably lay it in of, like, I'm really looking for something, like, serious and someone who, like, understands needs, and my goal is to, like, for you to feel so seen and so loved, and there's a chance we won't work out, but I will do my part for us to try to see as clearly as possible. And I will do my part, and I only can ask that maybe you try to do the same. And if there's not interest on your end, then just make it known. Like, and like that level of like, it takes away from this like scariness to be able to look at someone just so peacefully and saying like, I think you're gorgeous. I'm so enamored by the idea of like, us spending time together and getting to know each other. And also, maybe it won't work out. There's probably a high chance we won't. And I'm just blessed that I get to go on this date with you. And being able to say that even early on, this is the craziest thing. Nobody will say this. No one will say this. But the level of respect you will have for yourself and that that person will have for you is astronomical. It is astronomical. And then all of a sudden, it's modeled that she's allowed to be vulnerable too. And when I told her, I'm crazy about you. I am. I'm literally like, I think about you. When we stopped at going out, I thought about you every single day for a month and a half. And I tried to go out with other people and I was still thinking about you. So and if it doesn't work, I might still think about her. And guess what? And it's okay. And I'm grateful for it anyways. And I would rather put that on the table and also hold this realist part of me that's like, and maybe we shouldn't be together despite all of this. And being able to be that person that can just model it. I think women just feel so safe. I've had multiple women recently for some reason tell me like, I feel so safe with you. Like, and they've told you this too, which is the funniest part. They feel so safe with you because you carry yourself in a way where they're allowed to share how they feel and it's not going to be scary. And it doesn't have to be a completely like known on how to navigate immediately. It's just all I know is I think you're gorgeous and I want to know you. And that's enough.
I just clipped that whole section, by the way.
So you're goaded, bro. You're goaded.
Bruh, you just dropped the bar of the century. Like straight up.
uh,
I could not agree more. And
mm,
I cannot wait to go out there and like embody this
mm.
stuff and really. Oh, you got me amped, dude. Let's go. Let's
Bro, let's
go.
do it. Please, let's do it. Please.
Wow. Wow. I almost need to take a moment just to come back real quick because wow, man. I felt that so deep. I mean, my whole I feel like I'm on a float right now. Like that was you were speaking straight to my soul. That was a transmission.
Mm. Why did it resonate so much?
It- I think because it's the truth, and I think everyone listening will agree. It's the truth. It's the thing underneath all the stories we tell ourselves of this and that and this reason, that reason for dating this person, not dating. At the end of the day, it's all about just experiencing life, being willing to jump into the messiness of it and being okay with what happens because something is calling you forward to do that. And that kind of surrender is how we live a life that's alive, that's rich, that's vibrant, you know? Otherwise, like, what do we do? We play it safe. We try to like calculate our way through every single interaction with every person we ever come across, and that's such a scared way to live.
And it's like, what, dude? The biggest emotional unlock I have had in the last couple months is when I've finally been able to look at someone that I'm interested in, or even just to approach them and talk to them, and literally just be like, if I just met them, I noticed you. Or just say the thing with confidence. And that, dude, if you say it like that, no amount of rejection will destroy you. It's like, I said me. Like, for me to tell this girl I'm crazy about you, I used to think like, bro, that's so whatever, that's so gay, it's so, weak, or you can't give it, what, she's gonna stop liking you. And I'm like, bro, it's the opposite. It is so true. And I can have enough self-respect where I'm like, it doesn't mean we're gonna freaking run off into the sunset. But God forbid, women want to feel emotions. They want to feel like close to you. They want a man that can lead with that. They want to feel special. They don't want to think most of the time. I like girls that can think too. But at the heart of it, they just want to feel you. So, well, you can't be perfect. You literally, it doesn't, like, the perfect thing is to just be open.
Yeah, yeah.
Desensitizing to that, where I send it and then like they respond well, or like I say it and then they respond well, has just like healed a part of me that has been like scared. And I'm like, I'm never saying that. I'm never saying that.
Is this like a recent? Have you always been this way, or was this something that recently clicked for you?
Always scared.
Or yeah, like the level of openness that you're able to bring to women today. Has this always been the way you are, or is this something that you developed over time?
I definitely was more of a romantic where like in my early stages, I would stay up late, talk to girls, tell them that I have feelings for them to some extent. But then at some point, a relationship, my bids for connection weren't received, where I would say like, "Oh my God, super cute," blah, blah. And then it was just like not received, not received, not received until I like basically like fragmented a little. And I was like, now I can't say that. And I thought that was the norm of like, you stay hard, like kind of turned to toxic masculinity as a way of, because my heart was just numb. And so this is like the reversing of that. But this is like dialing it all the way up the notch. Where before I would kind of do it if it was safe enough, but now it's like I'm safe enough because I am.
Hmm.
Like she receives it or not, like hell, that should have made her day. I noticed you across the room, like you are stunning. Like I have to come talk to you. What's your name? Like that's for me. That's not for her. That's for me.
Mm.
Like that is completely for me. And the best part is it probably made her day anyways. And she's like, "Hey, I have a boyfriend," or "Hey, like I'm sorry, I'm not interested." I'd be like, "Amazing." But that was for me. I won. I won in that moment because I said the damn truth, bro. I won like crazy. You kidding me, bro? The fact that I even said that out loud, bro, that's the biggest win on earth.
Dude, are you just like transmitting to me right now?
uh, whew. Gets me fired up, bro. Gets me fired up.
I'm speechless. Like straight.
But you feel it, bro. You feel it. It's for you. It's for you, bro. For
I
so
know,
long, I thought it was for the other person.
you know that girl. Remember at dance, there was that really beautiful woman who I was like, Andres,
Yes.
look at her, dude, look at that
Yes.
girl. And I was like, fucking simping hard for this girl, whatever. And as we're leaving, you're like, why don't you go tell her? And I'm like, no, 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 no. And I just literally like walk in the opposite direction and just didn't even entertain the thought. And guess what? I left that night feeling like I betrayed myself.
I know exactly the feeling, bro. I know exactly the feeling. That was for you. I wasn't for her, bro. She was gorgeous and she got put in the world and it would have blessed her anyways, but that was for you.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I have a completely, well, somewhat related, but curveball of question I want to ask you. Curveball. So just giving you a heads up.
Love it.
How attractive am I? And I'll explain why I'm asking this, but I want to leave it open for a second.
I love that you're asking this, by the way. I think this is a very healthy exercise that men should do with each other. Like friends should do this with each other. Bro, you're like, I've already told you this before, but I'm gonna say it on the pod directly, so you're gonna let this shit sink into you. And I'm gonna say something that's a little racy and it's gonna be a little crummy for the audience, but like on average, statistically known, Indian men are a little bit less like on the scale of like what typical beauty attraction looks like. You are so far in the other direction that I don't think people would even like notice the fact that you're Indian, let's say. Um, you're extremely good looking. You're like 95th percentile. I'm just gonna go in that category of like male Indian men. And then in the scale of men in general, I still think you're at least like 90th percentile, like 95th percentile of like, well, good build, the hair goes crazy, like boy always cleanly shaved, the face, like dude, the chisel on the freaking facial structure, bro. The Adam's apple is going crazy. The masculinity is like popping through the neck, bro. Like can't get enough. The eyes, the sincerity in your smile, bro. Like you got it all, bro. You got it all. You got it all. And I'm not just gassing you to gas you. Like objectively, if I put you in a room and I just put your photo, like people are all gonna say the same thing.
Thank you. I'm let me just
Like, bro, the girl from the other night. I never want to say this because I want to dog the people that you're attracted to, but I'm like, bro, are you crazy? Are you crazy, bro? Like, I was like, you're literally out of the league to the point where I'm like, I'm hurting.
that's okay. That's the thing that I think you've said a couple times that sticks with me a lot is when you say they're out of my league or I'm out of their league, which is
Yeah, and I don't, and it's not. This is the best part about that. I'm not saying it as in like, yo, don't be, you're losing out and like be more masculine and get a more attractive woman. I'm just saying it for like the sake of you, of like, bro, if you think she's gorgeous like that, bro, who gives a crap what anybody else thinks? You're gonna wake up next to this person long down the road and you're gonna be like, I won the lottery, bro. I won. I'm winning. Nobody else's opinion matters on that. But I'm saying it for the sake of you, of like, bro, you freaking home run that crap, and you're still like, yeah, it's just for the sake of like your own fear of like, bro,
yeah.
she would be like nervous and excited that you're talking to her.
Thank you. And do you want to know why I asked that question? I'm not fishing for compliments. I mean, that's a
You're
pretty
gonna get them
direct.
anyways. I'm gonna love bomb you, bro.
I mean, that's the only reason that we have this weekly pod. Let's be real.
I was like, I could terrorize you with a love terrorist bombs.
Love bombs. I know I've shared this with you. I don't know if I've shared this in the pod before, but I've had a very rocky relationship to my looks, my attractiveness, my whole life, and I don't feel like getting into the whole story right now. But for 18 years of my life, I thought I was very, very ugly, like hideously ugly, like to the point where I would feel disgust all the time if I saw myself. Whenever I saw myself in the mirror, like I was like, oh, get that face away. Like I'm not even exaggerating. It was that.
Visceral.
It was that visceral. And then I find out that the opposite's the case, and don't know why this. I was dealt these cards. It kind of makes no sense to me, but I'm at a place now where. Well, what happened first of all is I swung the opposite direction where I became like my looks became how I.
You were valuable.
Yes, that was my value. It was like I'm a good looking guy and people will like me because of that. And so I'll have to maximize my looks. And so that's why I did the gym. That's why I learned how to do all this stuff. And that's where it is. But now I'm at a place where I don't care about that anymore. There's still, but I'm now revisiting as the pendulum has to come back to the middle. I'm starting to feel the disgust again, truly, that I felt that I never allowed myself to feel. And there is still disgust when I look at myself. I don't know why. Objectively, it makes no sense because you just shared beautiful words about, that I am attractive. And so I'm in
Mm,
this. It's this really weird place where like I want to
it's
move to the world.
incongruent.
It's incongruent, and I want to move through the world where I own my attractiveness. And I think part of it is like not owning it from a place of like, oh, I'm so fucking hot, like you should pay attention to me. But like, I didn't choose this body, I didn't choose this face, and I can own it. I can be, I can move with sincerity and love, and know that hey, I'm a pretty good looking guy, and that for me has never been allowed to exist together, right? Like for some reason, it was like, oh, if you think you're really good looking, it's going to get to your head. It did. Guess what? That's why I lived my life for many years. Uh, but like both owning my attractiveness and being real, moving with sincerity and love and grace, and also staying and being with the disgust, whatever that is, it's still there. I want to feel through it. Like, like,
W-
yeah, go ahead.
The women you were with, did they make you feel attractive?
Every time.
They st-
Women are the reason why I broke the story. Because up
mm,
until the first woman I ever dated, when I was 18 years old, I thought I was like every woman
yeah.
I've ever dated was like, dude, you're literally gorgeous. What are you talking about?
Okay, good. Because I was like, my question was wondering. I think you're looking to get the answer more internally. I think that's healthy and respectable. And I also think there's a very powerful. At the end of the day, you want to be found attractive by the person you are with. So what is important is the validation of a woman, um, specifically the woman you are with. And I wonder that seems like part of it, but there also seems to be an element of like self confidence in the way you show up. The attractiveness is part of the story that will either give you enough confidence to speak to that person or not speak to them. Um, or how you interact is in like, are they above me? Are they not above me? Um, that all translates in the way you like the tone, the excitement, the peace you have when you talk to a woman.
Yeah.
So that part I understand.
Yeah. And that's what this is. Like this is not literally me trying to feel good because you're showering me with compliments. This is helping me hear and receive what you're saying. And it's not going to my head. Like I already played that video. I already played that game. Um,
Plus, you don't have the external validation to like have much like overzealous pride. Like if you got every girl in the world, yeah, it'd be hard not to get to your head. But it helps you stay humble.
right, right. So this is another aspect of like, dude, everything is just all this distortions and how I see myself are just one by one coming up to the surface and dissolving once I let it come through. Once it's feeling through it like I did last night when I shared earlier.
You know what?
So yeah,
Keep going.
no, that's it.
The other thing I have is, and this is maybe tell me if this doesn't resonate, but for some reason, I feel as if when you have more time spent with women that you are even slightly like you are attracted to and have potential romantic stuff with, the more you have of that, the more the mental chatter will go away, and the more that won't really matter because once you're energetically just enjoying someone's company, you realize what it feels like to just be with someone. And so I think there is both a chicken and egg reality. I'm wondering that might be existing here where I guess my question to you is if you did see yourself as the level of attraction that you actually are, how do you think you would navigate differently?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know, and I don't feel like speculating,
Mm,
but it's something that I'm being called to do is to own it.
honor it, honor it.
Yeah. So, even putting my face on camera and posting these publicly, where I know people I know are listening to this and watching this, is honoring it in a way,
Mm.
right? Someone once told someone I read a Twitter post years ago that stuck with me, which is like whatever gifts we're born with, we have this tendency to feel ashamed that we didn't earn these gifts, and so we don't let the world ever see it. we don't ever serve the world with the gifts that we're born with. And one of his examples was like, if you're born with a very, soothing voice, use it. If you're born with an attractive face, use it. Not use it to gain things, but use it to serve.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's if that kind of answers your question, like that's what I want to transmute it into service. Like if this is going to sound so weird, but if more people watch my videos because of my face, beautiful. But I'm not putting videos out so I can get people in the comments saying, "Bro, you're so fucking hot."
Which isn't bad either.
True. And I was about to go and say, like, I was about to judge those people, but you're right. It's not bad.
What a dub.
What a dub. So anyways, thanks for this little detour. I had this question written down and I wanted to ask you.
Can I ask you something?
Please.
What's the next step in the direction of romance or meeting women? Like if you were to make it a micro step, a tiny step that can be taken this week or tomorrow.
How about right after this when we go for a walk?
What's the micro step on the walk?
Assuming there's a genuine arising of this. So I'm not doing this for reps. Assuming there's something truly I want to say to a woman, I think what I would want to do as the first action is throw a compliment. That's it.
Done.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah, nothing left to be said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I missed this pod, dude. This is incredible. This is incredible. How you feeling?
It always happens. I feel like halfway into the pod or 1/3 into the pod is where I really like my heart just like sinks into it, and I've just been flowing.
Same.
I'm fully alive, baby. I'm fully alive.
Let's go. All right. I think with that, we'll call it for this episode. Thank you everyone for listening. I'm going to throw the form again into the description. Please submit any questions, any burning questions you have. It could be about our lives. It could be about general topics. We would love to hear from you. Otherwise, we'll catch you next week. Much love. Stay kind. Peace.